What is up, YouTube? This is Chris, I'm Professional Dad, and I'm back with another knife video. You know, I make a lot of videos and I have a lot of fun doing it, but oftentimes I'm just talking about knives and different knives that I have and how much I love them and the different blade steels and different things like that, and I'm coming up with different topics to talk about. Occasionally, though, I get to talk about something important, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about great options for a youth's first knife. Yesterday, Dean reached out to me, shout out to Dean, and he asked me a question. Somebody had asked him, actually, so he turned around and asked me. He said, what would be a great option for a youth's first knife? And he told them a suggestion, but wanted to find out if I thought he was right or if I had any other ideas. He also suggested that this would be a great video, and he was correct. Shout out to Dean again. And Dean, you was right on the money, and that knife is on this table. We'll get to it. Caveat. We will not be talking about the ages that's appropriate for a child or a youth to start carrying a knife. Nobody can tell a parent when their child is ready except for that parent. It's not anybody else's place to tell me when my children are ready, and it's not my place to tell another parent when their child is ready. That's not something that we will be talking about today. You have to make that decision for yourself, and I'm sure you're going to make the right decision because you know your situation, you know yourself, and you know your child better than anybody else ever could. We will talk about knives that are great options. Now, in a minute, when I get halfway through, I'm going to switch. I'm going to tell you guys a couple caveats that I think are absolute no-nos when it comes to a child's first knife. But let's go ahead and get started on some knives. The very first one that I want to show you is not even a knife, but I think that this is a fantastic option to get your child started or your youth started, and that's a pry bar. There are so many reasons that I think a pry bar is an excellent idea for starting your child out, getting them accustomed to carrying. So many reasons. Number one, it's got a pocket clip. You can walk through Walmart and you can pretty much tell who's got a knife on them. And I'm not talking about people who are carrying the big ones on their belts or anything like that. I'm talking about people who are carrying pocket knives, because the majority of pocket knives these days have pocket clips. My kids even notice it when I'm carrying a knife. Dad, which one are you carrying today? We see the pocket clip. They know what it is. They know the process. Why do we wrap presents instead of just saying, here you go, here's what I got you? Because the wrapping, the experience of the whole process is part of the enjoyment. There's a process to it. It's not just what's inside. It's not just the knife. It's the whole shebang. And a pocket clip is a really cool thing because they're going to get to feel like they're actually carrying. They're going to see that little clip sticking out of their pocket. They're going to feel cool. It's part of the process. It leads to pride and ownership, which is an important part of the process. And it will go on to create and foster different feelings in them that will last a lifetime. And it will lead towards the other things that they own. Pride and ownership is an important part of this. Also safety and different things like that. And a pry bar is a great way to start that process. Now, what do I mean by safety with the pry bar? It doesn't even have a blade on it. Well, when we're carrying knives, especially as a youth, we have to develop motor skills. We have to learn how to use them. We have to learn the proper way to do cuts and the different ways to do this or that or whatever. Now, when my youth is carrying a pry bar, they won't even know it, but I'm going to be training them. I'm going to be teaching them in the most nonchalant ways, and they'll never see it coming. Hey, son, you see that over there on that floor, that piece of candy or that gum? I don't know where that came from. Do you care to go ahead and take that pry bar I gave you and go scrape that up? That's an eyesore. Get that up. I don't know how they got there. Hey, son, do you see that screw sticking out of that tile over there? You care to use that tool to screw that down? Hey, son, do you care to go grab me a soda and pop the top or whatever? I'm going to be coming up with things for them to do all the time, for them to use this. They won't be knowing I'm doing it. They'll think I'm just asking them to do something. A lot of times a child will not want to be asked to do something. Do it yourself, Dad. Come on. Gosh, I'm doing something. But give them something like this to do it with, they'll be wanting some tasks to do. They will be looking for opportunities to put these to use. And you will be training them on their motor skills and the different things that they need to learn to carry and properly use things like this, which will lead towards the knives. Now, again, This is the whole process, the pocket clip, different things like that. But let's say that you don't want to start them on one of these. Let's say you're going to give one of these to them already. So they're getting a pry bar either way. You actually want them to start on a blade. Well, I think one of the best options for, especially the younger they are, I think one of the best options, and we all often overlook this, is the Victorinox Classic SD. Now this is a Blade HQ exclusive, but it does have a blade on it. That's a small blade, but it's a capable blade. Twine, rope, tags, some twigs, different things like that. It's got a blade that can take care of that. It also has a screwdriver and a file. Of course, it also has scissors as well. And no Victorinox is complete without the toothpick and the tweezers. In the same way that I'm going to come up with uses for this for them to use to get skilled at, I'm going to do the same exact thing for this. Oh, we're creating a fire today. We're going to roast some marshmallows. Shout out to Jesse. I hope you're having a good time with your son tonight. It's Friday. Have a great time, buddy. I'm thinking about you. We're going to roast some marshmallows. Hey, son. I'm gonna grab a stick. Grab your own stick over there. Let's go ahead and cut some tops off of this. Yeah, you just do it like this right here, and cut the top off. Get that nice and cleaned up. Now you can roast marshmallows on it. I'm gonna come up with ways for them to use this. I'm gonna come up with ways for them to use these scissors, cutting their paper and stuff. Again, they're thinking they're just doing something, but I'm actually training them, and they don't even know it. But the Classic SD is an affordable way to give them a blade in their hands that's small, it's efficient, it's capable, and it has several different tools on it that they can actually use. And it's going to get them accustomed to carrying. Also, again, the younger they are, the more appropriate that this is. So, fantastic option. Now, also, whether or not you're allowing them to carry it full time, or it's going to be a situation where they're only carrying it under certain circumstances where you're present until they are skilled enough and safe enough to where you can turn them loose carrying full time. That's another thing you have to decide on your own. But this is a great option. Now, let's say that they're just a little bit older. Let's say that they're in the Scouts. Let's say that you go camping a lot and stuff like that, and they want to be part of that process. You ever notice you take your kids camping? A lot of kids absolutely love it and they have a good time, but sometimes you'll take your kid camping or fishing or something like that, and they just don't want to be there. They're like, gosh, I don't want to be here. I want to be home playing my video games or playing with my friends or whatever else. Give them something like this, the Victorinox camper. You can get these for like $30-$35. They have a ton of different tools on them, corkscrews, awls, scissors, screwdrivers, pry bars, a couple different blades. Give them something like this and actually let them do some of the task around the campsite and watch and see how quickly their attitude will change. And they want to be there now. Now they want to be camping and having fun because now they're part of the process. Now they're actually getting to use their knife, so they're getting to do cool stuff. Instead of just sitting around waiting on dad to start a fire or dad to cook something on the fire or dad to wait for it to get dark so dad will cut some twigs so we can roast marshmallows. Just sitting around, staring at trees and stuff. Actually give them something like this and let them go to work. The Victorinox camper is a fantastic idea. It's a little bit bigger than the other one. Still has the tweezers, still has the toothpick, but it does have all kinds of other things. It has can openers. It has bottle openers. It has a couple different knives. It has screwdrivers on it. Again, it has an awl on it. A corkscrew. You can use that corkscrew for a ton of different things. But ultimately, this is a fantastic idea. Now, my boy's 9 years old, the older one of the four, Elijah, and he's about ready. I'm not going to say when it is. We've talked a little bit, and I'm trying to decide when he's going to be ready to start carrying. But because of his age, I'm probably going to start him on something like this right here and let him carry it a little bit, supervised and stuff like that. But we'll see. He's a pretty responsible and a pretty good kid. He listens to me good, and he's all about safety. I've taught them how to handle knives and how to hand back and forth and how to hold them and cut paper and stuff. So he's probably going to be okay. Now, this next one is a Victorinox also, but this next one is a little bit different. This next one is a Victorinox that I think is going to be more, well, here, let me just show you. These are Swiss Army knives. They're cool. They got a lot of gadgets. Kids love them because it's like getting, do you want one toy that's $50 or do you want 5 toys that cost $10, but you get 5? Well, they want the 5 because the more toys, the better. Well, as adults, we see the value in a $300 knife that only has one blade on it, and that's it. It's just a knife. But a child, they are going to see this and be in awe because of all the different things that it can do. So it's going to appeal to them a lot more than we think it would. The next one is a Victorinox as well, but this is one that actually has the look and feel of an actual pocket knife. One hand opening. This is the one hand Trekker by Victorinox. This is a fantastic idea. Again, if I don't go with something like this, it might be something like this. I go with Elijah. One hand opening. It has a liner lock. Now, liner locks or any type of lock is going to be really, really important. Very, very important because, non-lockable knives as an adult can be dangerous, let alone for a child, or a youth. So it has to be a lockable knife in some way. The blade has to lock out. So this has got a liner lock. It's really secure. It still has a lot of the different features, but it also has a saw. Really cool. They're going to appreciate that. Something I really like about this knife, though, honestly, even though it does have a tip, it has a rounded, blunted tip. Now, if I absolutely pushed and pushed, eventually it's going to pierce. Absolutely. It's going to do it. But it's not the same. This or a knife, like let's say I got this one on the table, this tip. Very, very sharp, pointy tip. Completely different. So it's got a rounded tip. It's got serrated edges. Now you can get these with the straight edge, but the serrated edges I think is a great option for a youth's first knife. I think a serrated edge is a great option, and I'm definitely considering the serrated edge for his first knife. But again, it is a Victorinox that has a ton of different tools on it that they can use, but it's going to have more of the actual pocket knife look and feel, which is something that's going to appeal to them greatly. The Victorinox one-hand Trekker. Now, we've got past the Victorinox. I think that everybody pretty much agrees that Swiss Army knives are great options for a child's first knife. There's a reason that the Scouts and stuff like that, they're called the Scouts now. They used to be called the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts when I was growing up. Why they changed that, I do not know. They used to be called the Scouts or the Boy Scouts. Now they're just the Scouts. But there's a reason that they have always used Victorinox, Swiss Army knives, because they're fantastic. But let's get past those. Another option, really good option for a child's first knife. Now, I do not have a case knife. I do, but they're nothing special. They're like for my dad and stuff like that, so they're put away. Nothing special. I need to get some case knives and really get into that. My brother's big into case knives. But I think a knife that is a traditional style of knife right here is a decent idea. Now, I just mentioned the whole idea of lockable knives being really important. So this caveat right here is one of those knives where I think it's a good idea for a child if they're a little bit older. The younger ones, I would not suggest these because these are non-lockable. But let's say that they're older. Let's say that they're 12 or 13 years old. This is not that bad of an idea. Also, supervised situations and conditions. But it's small, fits in the pocket easy, multiple blades. Again, they still have that feeling that they're getting more than one knife. They're affordable. This is an Uncle Henry, so it's very cheap. I mean, these things are like $10 or something for the 2 and 3 blades. They could lose this, throw it away, whatever, and it's not going to be breaking the bank. It's not going to be a big deal. But it can be something that they can sit on the porch with you and whittle sticks or whatever. They could carve with it, cut paper. Just the feeling of having a knife in their pocket a lot of times is ultimately what they want and what they're going for. So a good option is something like this. Again, I'm going to stress, the younger ones, not so much. When they're older, if it's their first knife, this is a better idea. And I'm not saying this Uncle Henry, I'm saying something like a case or any type of traditional knife. Now, even more than that, I'm going to show you a knife that I think is a fantastic knife. And this knife is a good knife. This knife is in so many of my videos. Top 10 knives under $50. Knives that every collection should have. You know, knives if I was to start over again. It's the K-Bar Dozier Hunter series. This knife is around $30 to $35. And it is fantastic. And you want to talk about a child's first knife? This covers all the bases. It has a pocket clip that is reversible, so if they're left-handed or right-handed. It has one thumb stud, I'll get it out in a minute, that is also reversible. It has jimping up top, but here's the thing, it's lockable. It has a back lock. So it is secure and safe. It has a good blade, has a good feel in the hand. It's got good contouring to the handle, so it's going to fit most hands. Something like this is going to be a very simple, non-flashy option for a pocket knife. Again, now, let's do some caveats to things that, because I want to talk about this. Things that I think are absolute no's for a first knife. Have you ever noticed that two sports cars, they're the exact same car? Same engine, same body, same everything. But one is white, one is red. Which one's going to cost more on insurance, do you think? Which one's going to be more likely to be in an accident from speeding? Which one's likely to cause someone to want to race? They're both the same car, same engine, go the same speed, everything. We all know it's obviously the red one. The power of suggestion is a powerful thing, especially on youth, on younger people, more influential, less developed. In a red car, as soon as they get behind the wheel, they automatically feel like they're in the NASCAR 500. That's why insurance are more expensive for red cars. I'm actually dealing with my son right now. He's off serving and he's been looking at some vehicles and he's been quoting insurances and stuff. And I keep telling him, stay away from the red ones. And he keeps learning that lesson. The reason I say that is this. There are certain knives that are no's because of the power of suggestion. For instance, a karambit. You put a karambit in a child's hand and it's their first knife, and they're immediately going to feel like a Power Ranger. I don't know if it's the green one, the red one, the black one, the blue one. I don't know which Power Ranger it is. I just know all of a sudden they're a mall ninja and they're ready to fight Project Zorgon or whoever the bad guy is from the Power Rangers. I don't know. I never watched Power Rangers. I just know that there's a bad guy and they're always trying to fight him. But you give them a karambit knife and they are immediately a mall ninja ready to kick some booty. I'm just telling you, it is what it is. Or give them a Tonto tip knife that looks all tactical and cool. And immediately they're John Q. Rambo, out ready to dispatch some Viet Cong. Give them a knife that's really large. All of a sudden they're Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife, this is a knife. You walk out inside in the front yard for the next mile that you see, every single tree that you see, the trunk's got big chunks taken out where they've taken these big, huge, large knives that you've given them, and they've tried to go around chopping down trees. The power of suggestion is a powerful thing. And a lot of times, the knife that we give them will give them certain feelings. Automatics, no way. Karambits, no way. Tell you another one, really popular. And I see parents giving children these all the time, and I do not understand. Now, again, I don't say anything because it's not my place. It's their business, not mine. But butterfly knives. Butterfly knives are extremely dangerous, if you ask me. They also lead to extremely poor handling and safety skills. Now, when you're older, obviously there's fun in them. They can be used the right way. You can train with them and practice and get really good, and they're awesome. I'm not saying that they're not. They are awesome, and I love watching somebody that can do all those flips and turns and spins. I'm just saying, as a young one, I would not give my young one of those for their first knives. You want to talk about Band-Aids, you better have more than Band-Aids ready, because there's probably going to be a few accidents. You also have to remember they've got friends. And their friends might not have the same safety procedures and the same teachings that your child has, and the same, influences that your child has. And those other kids might want to snatch that or let me see it and do it. And then now you're in a lawsuit. Now some other child's been hurt because they've done stuff like that. All those are situations you want to stay away from. So karambits, automatics, butterfly knives, large knives. Now, I'm not saying fixed blades. I'm not saying that. I'm saying large knives. Things like that, machetes, stuff like that, stay away from. It's all asking for a child, because we know how kids are. They're going to want to test the boundaries. They're going to want to see what they're capable of. So it's just something that you got to stay away from. So something like this, it's not and one other note is anything with the fancy lock. Fidgety locks is going to lead to an accident. They're going to drop them. They're going to cut themselves. They're going to slice their fingers. They're going to do stuff. Yes, I understand that it's going to teach some motor skills and learn some, some control of some knives and stuff like that. But it's not worth the risk a lot of times. Something like this, it's not flashy. It's not fast. There's nothing to it. It's just a simple lockback knife that you literally open and close. It's got a good blade that they can do a lot of stuff with, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. I'm sorry, I keep getting calls, and just a great knife. My son's calling me and stuff. He'll just have to deal with it. But the K-Bar Hunter Dozier, I think, is a fantastic knife and a great option for a first knife. Again, remember, a reversible pocket clip, a safety lock, all the great things. No flashiness. You can get different colors. Let's say you've got a girl. They've got these in pink. They've got them in blue. They've got them in black. They've got different colored handles. So they're going to look fun. They're going to look cool, but they're simple. They're nothing complex. They're nothing fidgety and flashy and quick and tactical. Just a simple and safe knife. Now this knife takes the simple to a whole new level. But this one, I recommend even more than the K-Bar Dozier. And it is the SE Chirp. I think that this is the best option on the table. Absolutely, hands down. Take away the carbon fiber handles. You don't need those. This is a very simple and small knife. Very simple, very small. It's got a lanyard hole on it, so you can put a lanyard on it for them, tie it around the wrist. It's got a pocket clip. It's not reversible, but they can carry it like that. It's a very simple blade with a liner lock. That's it. And it's an SE, and we know how good the warranty on SE is, how good the blades are. A fantastic knife. Liner lock. Very, very simple. There's nothing to this knife except for capabilities. Feels good in the hand, especially for a small hand. It's going to fit smaller hands. A good blade, good edge, slicey. They're going to be able to cut on twigs and trees. They're going to be able to cut rope, whatever they need to do. They're going to have the pocket clips so they get the feeling. It does look pretty cool, but it's very, very simple. These things are also very affordable. They're not expensive. So again, if they lose them, if they break them, which if they break them, they got the best warranty on the market because they're an Essie. Full liner locks. I mean, this is a fantastic knife right here. It's hard to beat the Essie Chirp for a youth's first knife, especially if you're going the full-on pocket knife version. The Essie Chirp, in my opinion, is the best option on the table right there. Small, simple, but capable. All right, now I'm going to run through these last few, and there's some fixed blades. The first fixed blade I'm going to show you is a more of a symbol than actually this model. More of a symbol. So anything that's similar to this, and it is this Effing Grow right here. This is the 121 EF 121. This is a small knife with a Kydex sheath, but it's a fixed blade. Something that's small, they can wear on their side, they can wear on their belt. They get the feeling of having a knife. You can take them out into the woods and teach them camping. Now, instead of them hiding it in their pocket, or you don't know if they have it on them or not, or if other people don't know that they have it, it's actually a knife that is not a folding knife to where they can hurt their fingers and stuff with it folding. None of that extra stuff. It's just a very simple knife that you can take them out into the woods or out camping. Give them some tasks, they pull it out and they do it. Now, any smaller knife like this is going to work. Again, it's small. It's not a big knife. It's small. It's capable. It's got jimping on the top. Small for smaller hands. Kydex sheath. A clip for the belt. And I think any type of small and affordable, we want to stick with affordable because of the whole losing it, leaving it somewhere. We know how kids are. We know how kids are. They can be the most irresponsible things ever. We love them regardless. But my boys leave toys outside all the time. I'll tell them, that's a brand new toy. Do not take it outside. We want to show our friends. We want to show our friends. If you take it outside, you're going to lose it. You're going to break it. It's over. You've had it for one day. You take it outside, it's done. It's over. You understand that? No, it won't, Dad. No, it won't. They take it outside. Later on that night, they come in. Oh, we forgot our toy. They never see it again. Or they come in crying, Dad, they threw my toy and they broke it on the ground. Now its leg came off and it won't go back. I told you. I told you. It is what it is. Tone it down, Noah. Sorry, guys. You know how it is. I'm a professional dad, remember? But a small fixed blade knife like this, I think, is great. Because it is simple, it gets them used to the idea of just using a knife for what a knife is for. Nothing more, nothing less. They get to take it out with your supervision and go and do some camping and bushcraft techniques and task. Again, it's not just about... For me, the carrying the knife isn't just about carrying a knife. It's not just about the pride of ownership. It's not just about the safety. It's about the skills that they're going to be learning when they're using this stuff. It's about the motor skills. It's about the tasks that I can teach them while doing this. Zachary, tone it down, buddy. They're out there having a blast outside the door. Fantastic knife. I think any knife this size is a great knife. Not this model particularly. I use this one because this is an affordable knife. I mean, these things are 25, 26 bucks. So again, if they break them, this is in D2, so they're not going to break it. But if they lose it or throw it, somewhere and can't find it or leave it somewhere, it's not breaking the bank. So a small fixed blade like this sometimes is a better idea than a folder knife, because it's actually a knife that they're not manipulating and doing different things like that. They're not risking shutting knives or blades on fingers, anything like that. It's very simple. You know when they have it and when they don't. You can give it to them, put it on their side. You can go with them. You can take them out through the process, pull it out and use it, different things like that. The next knife is a knife that, Dean, this was your idea. And of course, it's one of the best ideas. Now, this one is pink because it's the only one I have. I mean, at Greg's house, we've got like 30 of these things. I've just given so many away on our giveaways and stuff. This is the only one I've got left until I go over and get some more. But it is the Mora Basic 511. I mean, come on. Is there any better knife for a youth's first knife than a Mora Basic 511? Now, I'm not talking about super young. If they're super young, I don't think that this is the right one for them. It's up to you to decide. I'm talking, if this is, they're 12, 13 years old and they're getting their first knife, a Mora would be a great option. It's affordable, $10. $10. Again, lose it, whatever, break it, whatever, it's not going to break the bank. But this is a knife that they can develop some skills with, that they're going to get that pride of ownership. They're going to be able to learn good safety features and tactics with. They're going to learn how to feather stick with, start fires, different things like that. There's so many things that you can do with the Mora. I mean, so many things that you can do with the Mora. I'm going to take my kids, trust me, when they're ready, I'm going to be taking them out to the woods. I know I don't go out there a lot right now because I've got little boys. I physically can barely walk half the time myself, so I definitely couldn't do it myself and take care of them. But when they're old enough to take care of themselves, then we're talking. Now I can go for a day, maybe two, and I can get them out there. I lived in the woods for years and was all about the outdoors and camping, hiking the Appalachian Trail and living in a tent for 2 years. Again, not because I was homeless or broke. I had money. I wanted to be there. I wanted to do it because I was a prepper. I never started fires with matches or lighters. It was all primitive stuff. And learning those skills, there's a sense of being capable, a confidence that comes from that stuff. And I want to teach my children that kind of stuff. And when you can take a child out or a youth with a Mora knife and you can take them out there and you can show them how, all you need is this right here. If you take this right here out into the woods or out into the forest or woods or whatever you want to call it, the backyard, you can take this right here and you can build a shelter with it. You can build traps with this. You can clean animals with this. You can dig with this. You can do whatever you need to do. There are so many things you can protect yourself with this. There's all kind of start fires. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with this right here. So this is a fantastic idea for a youth's first knife. This one is the best, in my opinion, the best fixed blade idea there is. I talk about this knife all the time because I love this knife so much. Shout out to Alex. Alex Knives and Gear. He has a YouTube channel. Y'all should go check him out. Alex Knives and Gear. He is awesome. He watches the videos. He does some really cool reviews. He just won one of these for me in our last giveaway on March the 3rd. He just done a review video yesterday of this knife. It's a great review. You guys should go check it out. This is the Outdoor Element Scout Feather. I know I brag about this knife all the time. It's the only one I have that has a necklace, or not necklace, but a piece of paracord that I use as a necklace. The only knife I have like this, because this is the one that I use constantly. I carry this thing so much. This is a great knife for a youth's first knife. This is the best one on the table in my opinion, but second is this one right here. This is a fantastic, it's going to fit a small hand. It's got good jimping. It's a small blade, so it's only going to be capable of so much, but whatever they need to do or want to do, they can do with it. But it's also going to give them other things that they can do. They got ferro rods, so you can teach them the different skills, starting fires and stuff. It's got a sharpener on here so that you could teach them how they could hone their knife in emergency situations. It's got a 1/4 inch wrench back here so they can take the ferro rod off or do other things, twist other nuts and bolts off. Going to give them a ton of different capabilities. Again, it's kind of like the multi-tool. It's just a way of teaching them different things. It's not just about the knife, it's about all the different things they can do with the knife. And this knife has different things on it that gives you different things that you could teach them. They can use it for different things. They can do different things with this. Like I said, starting fires, all kinds of stuff. This is a really cool knife. Under $50. I think everybody out there that's a knife enthusiast or a collector or just somebody that uses knives, I think everybody should use them. Like I told Alex, and if you've ever watched my videos on this knife, I say it all the time. It's got the worst pocket clip in the history of pocket clips. Alex found that out himself. I took mine off immediately for a reason. That's why I use this. I've said that in all the videos. I've always said that I take my pocket clip off on this one. That was the first thing I did because it is garbage, the pocket clip is. But the knife itself is fantastic. But if you want a really good knife for your youth's first knife, boy, this one right here is a really good option. Really good option. And the last knife is one that is always a winner. Always a winner. One of the best options on the table. One of the best options on the table. But it is a little bit more expensive. So this is where you're going to have to make that decision on whether you're willing to risk it because it is a more expensive knife. But man, it is a cool one that they're going to love. And it is the Essie Azula. I mentioned before with this one, I love Essie, the warranty. Now, I'm not talking, you don't have to get the Fire Ant Red Blade HQ exclusive. This thing is awesome. But you can get any Essie Azula. You can get the skeletonized version. You can get the ones with scales on them, whatever. But they're small. They're simple. You can put pocket clips on them or belt loops so that they can wear it on their belt. They can wear it as a neck knife, which is really cool. They'll appreciate that. When I wear mine as a neck knife, my boys love it. They think it's the funniest thing and the coolest thing ever. They love when I wear my neck knife. A necklace that's a knife, that is so cool. So they would probably appreciate that as well. I don't know if it's as cool as wearing one on your side, having that whole feeling. But the Essie Azula is a knife that is so capable. It's so fun. It's going to be a knife that they can, it's small. There's nothing to it. It's very simple, very basic. $10.95. But also, here's the thing that's great about this. I keep mentioning it with all these. It's about the things that we can teach our youth. It's not just about the knife. It's about what it represents. It's about the safety, the pride and ownership. It's about the skills that they can learn while using the knife. It's all those things combined. And there's one that's going to be offered with this that none of the others offer. This right, actually the Mora is this one a carbon? Oh, yep, this is a carbon as well. Okay, so the Mora will offer it as well. This right here is 1095 high carbon steel. So it is extremely easy to hone and sharpen. So you could literally take them out, do some tasks, feather stick some trees and listen at me, some pieces of wood, cut some branches down or limbs down or whatever, or twigs down, however you want to say it, to roast marshmallows, let them cut their own stick, do different things like that. At the end of the day, you can show them how to take a piece of leather or a rod or whatever, or a rock, and how they could hone this very easy and sharpen it right back to razor sharp. It's very simple to do that with 1095 carbon steel, and it's one of the easiest metals to sharpen, and for beginners it's perfect, and for youth it would be a really good option because you will be able to teach them at a young age. And let me tell you, a lot of people struggle with sharpening knives because it is, even though it might look easy, it is something that you need to learn to do. period. You got to learn to do it. You got to practice. So when you start at a really young age with this right here, it's going to carry over with you, and it will definitely last a lifetime. That is an excellent skill to have, and everybody should know how to do it, especially if you're going to carry knives. So that is 10 knives plus a pry bar that I think are excellent options for a youth's first knife. There's tons of knives that could be replaced with any of these, but I think that these are all good options. Remember, it's not about the knife, it's about what it represents, and it's about the opportunities for teaching that comes with these knives. So put any knife in any one of these places, as long as you're doing the same things, teaching them the skills that they need that goes along with the knife. Just handing them a knife and turning them loose, I don't think that's ever a good idea. You know, that's never a good idea. Somebody has to teach them to use them, to be safe, to be cautious, how to cut, the proper way to cut away from, not to, different things like that. All just little things like that. Pry bars, multi-tools, all those things give us opportunities to engage with our youth, to teach our youth, to have relationships and experience with our youth. It's all part of the process, and it's a fun process. It's a rewarding process, and it's one that will last them for the rest of their lives. And one day they will be doing the same thing with their youth, and it's a cycle that's a cycle that should always continue. All right, guys, remember, premium members, nobody has to join, but anybody that wants to, we're giving this Cold Steel Engage away this month. At the last day of March, we're going to be giving this away. This is a 3.5 inch with S35 VN. If you're a tier 1 member, you get 1 name in the hat. Tier 2 members, you get 3 names in the hat. Tier 3 member, you get 5 names in the hat. Our premium member group is growing every single day. Well, not every day, but it's still growing. But only the premium members will be in this. We've got other giveaways that I'm about to announce for the entire community. I appreciate the viewers, I appreciate the subscribers, and I appreciate the premium members. But only the premium members are in the Knife of the Month giveaway. So anybody can join, but nobody has to. All the money goes to the knives, not to me. It goes to buying the knives so that we have nice knives to give away, and they will always be at least $100 in value. Remember that, guys. So again, nobody has to join, but if you want to, you get 12 chances a year at winning really nice knives. I appreciate it. I'm Chris Young, Professional Dad. I wish all of you sharp knives and happy lives, and I'll see you in the next one.